Hello, everybody. A win is a win. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man. Oh, man. That was, I'm like, I was so frantic during that game. Holy cow, dude. That was, uh, that was something else, that's for sure. But you know what? Like, it's pretty hard to be upset when you win like that. Uh, that see, I'm choking. That was so tense at the end. Oh my goodness. Um, well, listen, we won, which is what matters. It was not a great performance all around, especially defensively. This was one of Chelsea's weakest defensive performances of the year, but holy smokes. Holy smokes. Thomas Wilkinson, can this be an hour of just praising Reece James? That boy is so good. And almost as nice as the win as Reece James plays 90 minutes for the first time in like a year and a half, which is pretty cool. And looked like pretty comfortable, looked way better physically than last week. Last week at 60 minutes, he looked dead. Today, he looked like pretty comfortable for the whole game, I thought, which is so nice. So nice, dude. Oh, that was fun. That was fun. Nice to see some regulars in here. Well, listen, like we'll just get straight into it. I'm not gonna stream super long today because I got to do some stuff. But, whew, I'm like, man, it's so much more fun when we win. That's like the whole thing. Way, 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 way more fun when we win. So listen, let's talk about it. So stats wise, it's like an even game on XG. Now, some of that is like really they get one glorious chance, one amazing, amazing, amazing chance, right? Like this is the one that did everything for them is the Isak goal, which is like he can't miss. And it's a great goal from them. It's pretty terrible from Chelsea, but it's a good one. And then the other one is like they have a header that like this is not a 0.18 chance. He's like super heavily contested. Like this is not that good a chance. There's the Isak header. This is a pretty good chance that gets blocked on the line. Other than, it's like really these three, right? I would suspect this will probably get downgraded a little bit in like the post-shot adjustment. And I would suspect that Chelsea's might get a little bit better. But I don't know. Like I think the Jackson one might go up a little bit. We'll see. I'm not sure on that one. But listen, like a win is a win, and that matters. And like we've talked about this season, like like Chelsea play well in the big games and then they don't win, like in the Liverpool game and the City game and the Forest game as well, where like Forest are quite good this year. Like it was nice to play just okay and get a dub. Like it matters. Like the points really matter here, especially on a weekend where Villa drop points, United drop points, Spurs drop points. Like Spurs losing to Palace is actually like sneaky, really impactful. Like if you look at the year-over-year comparisons, at the start of the weekend, it was 66, 69, 69, and now 64, 66, 69 is like will be meaningful come the end of the year, which is quite nice. Man, that was so fun. Elliot Sherman, I'll say this about Reece, clearing twice off the goal line is leadership in my book. We're going to talk about that later. We're going to talk about those comments. But frick, man, what a game. 17 shots to 11. Nice to see some shot differential in Chelsea's favor. Like, I think that's nice. And I thought I suspect, I'll wait for the Mark R Stats tweets to come up, but I suspect the expected threat stuff is going to love Chelsea today. Like, I thought they did an excellent job getting into really good spots, and they did a not great job of turning them into very good chances. Whereas on the flip side, I thought they were, like, very poor defensively, but Newcastle only turned it into so much, right? Let's talk tactics first, and then we can we can wait and see how some more of the data comes out. So, fun one. We talked about this last week where I said one of the adjustments that I wanted to see, like I think if you go back to the last week's stream against Liverpool, like one of the things I said was I want to see, I don't like Palmer and Madueke on the same side because I think it gets very crowded and I think it lets teams really like bulk up the right side of the pitch. And if you go Palmer left hand, it opens up like the slip pass from Neto for Palmer into the channel. Big up Kier, second in the big up. Appreciate it, gentlemen. I really do. I really do. It's very nice to hear. Big up Chelsea. Big up the Dubs. But yeah, like I was saying, last week I talked about this, right? Like I think getting Palmer off the same side as Madueke and getting Gusto on the same side as Madueke makes a bunch of sense. And the consequence of that was it means Reece James played left back. And I liked it way more than I expected. Way more than I expected. I thought that was like sneaky interesting. And I think, so like this is the thing with James, right? Like at this point in his career, with his injury history, like can he realistically be asked to do the amount of ground covering that Gusto does, like being a 10 in possession and making runs into the channel and then recover and then run and then recover and then run? Like probably not. So he almost has to be part of the 3 or he has to be in the double pivot. And if you're playing Caicedo and Lavia, he's not going in the double pivot. So it means he's got to play in the back 3. And you really want Colwill to be the middle center back. You don't want Fofana to be the middle center back because Fofana, as we saw today, Fofana I thought had one of his best games. He has like 2 silly errors. The one gets him hurt and the other one is like the Isak chance at the end. But that's kind of par for the course for him. But I thought he was very good. Like I thought he did a great job to bait the press and dribble through. I thought he was pretty calm. I thought he was very smart about not playing back to Sanchez because Newcastle were really able to set up their press when the ball went back to Sanchez. And I think this setup makes way more sense than this. And we'll see what the I'm just gonna see if it's there. If the Mark stat spot is up. Palace. No, not yet. Okay, so I'll wait and see. But I thought that, like, I think this would have made a lot. I think people would have looked at this and been like, oh, this makes sense. But I think actually this would put Fofana in a very difficult place. And that was nice. And I like that Enzo Maresca is still trying things and still doing different things. Like, I thought this was a nice setup. I really disliked the subs today, which is a first. I've generally liked his subs, at least in who he chooses, if not the timing and the quantity, because I think he's been a bit conservative with using his subs. But I quite liked this as a setup. Newcastle press, like flat 4-3-3 press or 4-5-1 press. Like, they end up basically like this all the time. And they end up here. And so they have like a couple key triggers, right? So the first one is if Caicedo has the ball here, Bruno steps, and then when Caicedo plays back, Bruno steps straight out along the same line, so you can't play Gusto. And because the winger is here and the fullback is here, you can't really break the line into him. And they do a really good job of having Jackson, of the 6 pickup Jackson. Like, Newcastle were really good today. Like, today was very, very solid performance from them. And they have been not great this year. I thought defensively they were super switched on. So that was a thing that Chelsea struggled with. And what we saw the best of was when you'd have the winger come low and then they'd play this pass into this channel. Andre Santos scored. Unreal. Nice. I know they're playing right now. I just got a text from a friend saying Chelsea are title contenders, which is absolutely not the case, but that's fun. Andre Santos header. This guy just always gets in the box. But Chelsea had a couple solutions where they would play Madueke into Jackson, and it like worked quite well. And the one that we saw in the first half a lot was when they would build here, so like just regular back 4 almost, and they would have these players come super low, and they'd have the wingers split. And so now you can go, boom, Jackson rolls. And this was one of the things that I thought was so good. And Sam, CFC Central went on London is Blue this week, and he talked about like Jackson versus Dan Burn is the matchup for Chelsea to get at, and it's the one. And literally Chelsea's first good action of the game is him just roasting him, and then 2 minutes later roast him, slips Palmer for the offside goal. Sam knows what he's talking about. That guy's super bright, and I thought he was dead on. Jackson was way too much for Burn and Schär to handle. They hold the ball up, stick, roll, play wide, continue your run, roll, slip, roll, go yourself. Just so locked in. And loved it. I thought Chelsea didn't go to it enough, but I also think Newcastle did a good job of making him have to come get it out here or out here, and even just like denying his feet a lot. But that was kind of the game tactically. Was like Chelsea tried to play through. When they broke the lines, they got into really good spots, but they had lots of trouble breaking the lines. I would suspect that that Chelsea's build-up completion rate is lower than it has been in the past. Like, I'd be pretty confident about that. But I thought they had a lot of value out of that. Love Sam. Ugarte's his only take I'm not sure about. I don't know his Ugarte take, but I liked Ugarte at Sporting. I didn't think he was a great fit for Chelsea, but I liked him. Jackson is so underrated by our fan base. IMO. Jackson is underrated by everybody. Yeah, shout out CFC Central. Sam's the GOAT. Sam's the GOAT. Go send him love, because he was super spot on about Chelsea's game today. Jackson is super underrated. Like, he gets one shot today and he scores it. And he sets up a breakaway that is like off by Palmer's toenail. So that was nice. That was the game for Chelsea in possession. On the other end, I thought Chelsea were really bad defensively today. Like, really, really deeply not good. Newcastle build like the most boring 4-3-3. Like, there's nothing crazy. Jackson's top 3 striker in the league. I think he's better than Watkins, who I assume is the other one in the 3. Like, he's not better than Haaland. Like, that's the reality. But I think he's better than Watkins. 6'1" striker with pace and power, who has very intelligent movement and dribbles quite well. Dude, he's super smart. His link-up play, Mo Squared, who is Mohammed, did a video for Footy Insights or something like that on YouTube about Jackson. That was really good. It was like it was not as high on him as I am, but I would highly recommend. I'll pull it up. I'll put it up on the Twitter. Mo Square. It was, this is the video. So go find it. It was really good. Really, really, really good. A little bit harsher than I would have been. But like really good content that I think like backs up all the really excellent thing he's doing. So yeah, defensively is where like Chelsea had the real problems, right? Like, so Chelsea did the same thing as always. They did the 4-4-2, and they kind of mid-block it. They actually got some like pretty good turnovers in the second half. The first half they got very little in terms of turnovers, but it wasn't bad. The first half was pretty bad. The second half was better in terms of turnovers. And so Chelsea did like the 4-4-2 mid-block thing. The problem is Newcastle had their 8s so wide. Like, they would really bring Tonali and oh my God, I got to look at the lineup because I'm blanking. They would really bring Tonali and Joelinton super wide, like all the way wide. So now Caicedo and Lavia are like this. And the space for them to defend in the middle of the pitch was humongous. And they had a not great first half. The goal comes from like a pretty terrible giveaway, and then the goal comes from the deep build up. There was another one I'm thinking of, the Sanchez giveaway, but like Lavia and Caicedo, just like Lavia gets chasing and then misses a tackle, and then Caicedo misses a tackle. And it's just the thing when you make the spaces so big like this is if you miss a tackle and the spaces are big, right? Like if you're if I was to draw, how do I do my rectangles? Here's my rectangle, right? If I draw this space, okay, and let me get this and get Palmer out of here. If I draw this space and you have to play 2v2, if you miss a tackle, it's basically impossible to recover, and it's always dangerous because they can build so much speed out of the missed tackle, which is what happened all the time this game. But if you say Chelsea are much narrower, they're more compact, here's their line, whatever, and now you look at this space because their 8 is here and their fullback's here and the winger's here. Well, tell me now, like, if we miss a tackle here, like, okay, it's way easier to recover. It's way easier to manage everything that's going on. So I think that is something that Chelsea struggled with today. And that happens when you're kind of man-marky. And it was something Chelsea struggled with. In the second half, their distances were way smaller and were way, way, way better. Like, if you look first versus second half XG today, I bet you it's going to be a really big difference because I'm pretty sure they were at 1.5 at halftime, 0.4 in the second half, very little. And like these are both have the big chance flag, and this one might keep it. This one will definitely lose it. And so this will drop to like 0.3 maybe. And that's kind of where it comes out, is like Chelsea managed things way better in the second half, mostly just by like the play better adjustment and being like their distances were much smaller, and I thought they were much smarter defensively. I think what started to happen was Madueke wasn't tracking Lewis Hall very well in the second half. I thought that was something they really struggled with. But this, I think Lavia is good in that he's such a good build-up player. But man, like defensively, he's such a sieve. But then the second half, like he came on. Like I'm very curious to see what his individual stats look like. The second half, I thought he was really good. I wish I could split this up into half by half, but I thought second half he was way better. So we'll live with it. Lots of questions. Let's see what we got in here. Am I crazy or did every other fixture go our way? Yeah, looks like it. Felix should have come on for Palmer. I thought he was going to. Somebody said he was warming up with Enzo Fernandez at halftime. I was fine with it. One of the things I really appreciate about Palmer is he has a very good sense for how the game is going and where the game is. Because if you watch him in injury time, he is sprinting to close down Nick Pope here. Like, he is literally just like sprint here to kill the game. And I have, like, Palmer, for his minor flaws, is a total gamer. Like, he is super about it. What else we got? Great day for the Nico Jackson fan club. Plenty of room on the train. Man, the train is like 80 miles long at this point. It's like the Siberian Express. What's that movie? The movie about the big train. I don't even know. It's a big train. It's Snowpiercer. It's the Snowpiercer train. How much better do Chelsea look if Andre's playing next to Caicedo? Good question. I watched Strasbourg against PSG last weekend, and I thought Andre looked pretty good, but I'm not certain he just wouldn't look like a differently shaped Lavia, but I do think the shape of his ability is probably useful, very useful to Chelsea. I would suspect he will play a lot of minutes for Chelsea next season, which is nice. We're the best team of all time, maybe. That would be nice. Why didn't I like the subs? And Il Capitano said exactly what Seb C said about Lavia. Seb and I have very similar opinions about Lavia, in that he's like quite good at build-up stuff, but he is so bad defensively that like it's very difficult to play him against good teams. I think Lavia will be super useful against like bottom of the table teams that press though. And I think like even if you look like the Bournemouth game, like I think he would have been super useful in the Bournemouth game. against teams that are going to press you, like I think he's super useful. I'm also so curious who plays midweek against Newcastle, because like it's not a Thursday, and like you probably shouldn't go full 11 rotation because Newcastle are a real team. Why didn't I like the subs? So here are the subs. Mudryk comes on for Madueke. Fernandez comes for Lavia, Cucurella, and Nkunku come for Gusto and Jackson. So here's why I didn't like the subs. First off, they're late, and he doesn't use all 5. And Chelsea are, it is not possible to play 90 at the... It is not possible to play 90 at the level of intensity required in the Premier League. Like, it's very hard for that. It's very, very hard to do that. Tonali got a yellow. I wonder if it's another hilarious gambling crime. It was delaying a restart, and it was like kind of obvious, and it was kind of a weird like one to delay, but maybe. So here's what I didn't like. The sub that I wanted at 60 minutes was I wanted Renato Vega to come on for Gusto, and I wanted Nkunku to come for Madueke. Were like, those were the two, and it didn't have to be both. It could have been either. But what I wanted was this. So when Chelsea are building, right, and you end up like this, Gusto, and I wanted Enzo Fernandez for Lavia earlier because I thought Lavia was fading pretty hard. Enzo was really good, and he was really good at midweek for Ghent. I was super happy with his performance today. Like, I want to start him midweek for sure. I thought he was really good. Like, I think it's actually maybe sitting in his head that he has to fucking play soccer probably. So what I wanted was, because we end up like this, what I wanted was Nkunku to come on from Madueke so that you could have him here, because I thought Chelsea were having enough trouble playing through the lines that getting a second guy who can play half term in here would be super helpful for Chelsea to play through. I thought that would have been really, really cool. And I thought he was just like late to do the sub because like Madueke lost Lewis Hall, and he does it right after the free kick where he loses him. The other sub I wanted to see was I wanted to see Vega come for Gusto so that you could have Vega here and Reece can do this, or Reece can do this and it's fine, and just like stay, not really go. Because I think Chelsea were having a really hard time with Dan Burn getting high for long balls and Joelinton and Isak pulling onto fullbacks. Like, Newcastle, to their credit, were very smart about getting long balls right onto Neto and Gusto and Cucurella. Like, they were very, very intentional about, like, when we play direct, we pull the big man onto the fullback and then we attack off of that. And they were very smart about it. And Chelsea had a really hard time dealing with it when it wasn't Fofana, Colwill, and James able to go up. And it got better when James went to right back. It really got better when James went to right back, because now like Joelinton and Isak couldn't just pick on Gusto. So that was a change I would have made earlier. But Mudryk I thought was good. I thought he was totally fine. I thought the Enzo sub was late. And that's kind of it. And I didn't like taking Jackson off for Nkunku, because if you needed to play long to make it stick, I thought Nkunku would have been worse than Jackson, but I thought Nkunku had a really good game in terms of scrapping to hold people up. I want the Chelsea one, Mark, because I want to see how much of the build. Here we go. Okay. Build completion 82%. We're normally a 90% team, so that's pretty funky. I want to see this is what I want to see. So he has I love this, by the way. Great website if you're looking for stuff. So he has like build up percentage, opponent build up percentage, stuff like that. It's like Chelsea are like an 88 to 90% team. So 82% is like quite low for them, whereas Newcastle's 80% is like about normal. Let's see what else we got in here. Yeah, I gotta go back to the bot. What else we got in here? Deep entries 11 to 14. Penalty box shots about even. PPDA pretty pressy. PPDA for Chelsea, that's really low for us. I'd have to go look at understat, but that's like very pressy for us. But also they played direct, so like I don't know how pressy that is. 8 high turnovers. Yeah, thank you, Balberto. Nice. Yeah, like, I don't know. Neto. I thought Neto had a good game, man. I'm happy for him because I was like, have been pretty critical of him, but I thought Neto was pretty good today. He was very active. Which matters. What time is it? Newcastle or Liverpool Arsenal started. Yeah, that's kind of where that was at. If I go through the team, Sanchez was horrific. Like, he was giving the ball away. Somebody asked, are we going to see Jorgensen? I think Jorgensen is worse at everything. With the ball, coming for crosses, sweeping, shot. Like, I think he's just worse at everything. So even though Sanchez kicked the ball out of play like literally 20 times today, like 6 of 25 long balls is hilarious. I would still definitely play him ahead of Jorgensen. Yeah, I would. It's frustrating, but like, you kind of have to live with it. That's why I'm like, stop booing him. He's gonna throw one in his own net. He's not gonna not play. So that one is tough. Would have been nice to have Vega for our toothless corners, man. So, okay, here's how Chelsea did corners today. Before we get to this, this was every single setup. So you have your 4 big guys. Your 3 big guys, really. You have Palmer like somewhere in here. I don't even know who else. No, Palmer was probably taking it, depending what side you're on. James is short. Caicedo's on the edge. Madueke is like here somewhere. Neto's here somewhere. It's like this. Something like this, okay? This is every corner. Chelsea would have Lavia set a back screen. So, like, imagine I am the goalkeeper and my chair is Lavia. I can't just move backwards because my chair is in the way. So Lavia setting a back screen. The group would start on the penalty spot. Jackson would make a run to the near post. And Colwill Fofana would relocate to the back post and attack clipped high ones to the back post where Lavia is trying to block. This was every corner setup. Okay? I don't know what they saw. I haven't watched that much Newcastle. I haven't sat down and watched all the corners to like do the video and be like, oh, they've struggled with back post. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's what they saw. And Newcastle do have like fairly heavy zonal markers, which is why you want people to start from the back. That's like a pretty common thing. But most of the deliveries were like not that good. There was one corner delivery that was good to the back post that Colwill got a free header. And then it popped out to Neto, if you remember, in the first half. And like Colwill gets a free header and it got blocked. But I just didn't like it. I would have much rather have seen like Fofana trying to come across the front from the back. Because Fofana is quite good at those like run and like glancing ones. Like, I think he's really good at that. And yeah, I just didn't love it. I thought the defensive corners were pretty good, but the attacking ones, I think, were just like there wasn't a ton going on there. Even if this was a weakness, wouldn't they adjust like the 6th time we did it? Maybe. Like, what often happens is like teams defend the way they defend and they don't change it. Like we saw with Poch last year. Chelsea conceded back post corners every single game, and Poch was like, "No, I don't need a set piece coach, Dad." So like, you'd think they would, but often they don't. But yeah, the execution was quite poor, and I didn't agree with the setup. But like, I've seen enough good process setup things, like where you have back post runners for heavy zonals, you have picks, blocks, and stacks for heavy markers. Like, I've seen enough good process things, even though the results so far, like Chelsea are still like below average for set piece expected goal difference. They were the worst team in the league last year. So being below average is an improvement. I've seen enough good process things that I'm not super concerned. And I will say, like, set pieces really depend how much time the coach gives you on the training ground, right? So like, if Cueva is only getting 20 minutes a week, like, the improvement in this area is going to be very slow. If he's getting an hour a week or 2 hours a week, like, it will go faster. But my guess is, given all the travel constraints, it's probably less. Will Simon Hooper actually be in the championship next weekend? I don't know. He was disastrous. I never complain about referees. I think I'm pretty good about not getting on to referees, and I thought he stank the place out. Thoughts on having a fully healthy squad? I've seen many people blame Poch for injuries last season, even though they started way before him. However, there are anecdotes about his training causing injuries. What I have heard, not from people at Chelsea, what I have heard about Pochettino in general is that his training methods are very hard. Very hard. And there are numerous public examples about this. Like there's the Ricky Lambert story about like they were coming in on a Monday after playing Sunday to do 12 laps of the pitch sprinted or something. And he went to the coach to like talk about it. And then the next week they did 24. Like there are many stories about Poch's training sessions. What I will say is what I think the big difference between the two. Pano Footy didn't watch the game, just got to the stream, but needed to hear Kier's sweet voice live. Thanks, Pano. Man, we slapped Panathinaikos, man. I'm sorry, but we'll take it. What I think the big difference between Poch and Maresca in terms of injuries so far is the return to play protocol. So, like, if you think about Reece James gets injured, he goes, so he's out. Okay, so he misses training for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks because he's injured. He can't train. You see the doctors, and the doctors say, okay, he's good to come back to training now. Maurizio Pochettino's return to play protocol is very heavily like, you are not fit because you were injured. We're getting you up to speed right away. A lot of individual running. A lot of individual running. This was a thing under Lampard too. If you remember, Lampard had a lot of guys go out injured, come back, and immediately get re-injured. And it was the same because it's like you're missing training, so you have to run hard to get you back up to match pace. And what we saw is like that Lavia died. Like Lavia had been training with the team for like 3 days of sprinting and then immediately came onto the pitch to play the last 30 minutes of a game and immediately got re-injured again. And there's like lots of people who have talked about Poch's return to play protocol. Seb C has talked about this a lot, and Seb is like very dialed in on like physical coaching in addition to much more than I am. In addition to like the tactical and analytical and that sort of stuff. But Poch's return to play protocol was brutal. And by all accounts, it seems like Maresca has been much more willing to like take his time, slow it down. Okay. Like you take an extra week to do the recovery and in the gym. And then you take an extra week of getting training up to speed. And then like we see last week, like Reece James plays only 53 minutes. Lavia plays 53 minutes. And then they don't even dress midweek. And then today, like Lavia gets 75 and James gets 90. Like it's a slow building up where like Reece James's first time playing back was 3 weeks after he started training with the first team, right? Like they hit it because it was during international break, but it was 3 weeks. So I think that's like a thing that happens. And I think that's been managed really well. And one of those things, right, is like injuries beget more injuries. So like Poch last year had a hard time where he carried a smaller squad. Like the squad was only 22, 23 guys. And then you play and you pick up an injury. So now your 20 is 19 outfield players. And then because you have 19 outfield players, everyone's minutes go up. And then because all their minutes go up, there's another injury. And now you're down to 17 guys. And then you don't have... And then there's another injury because now you're maxed out. Like there were games last year where we had 3 goalkeepers on the bench, 2 academy kids, and 1 senior player because that's what we had. And I think Poch was like could have been much more aggressive about playing young players, and also rotating more. Like Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo played 1 trillion minutes, while Casadei's out on the bench and did nothing. But like that's the difficulty to balance, right? How was Mudryk off the bench? Yeah, Axel Disasi played 4,000 minutes last year, and he plays Conference League only now. That's And to be fair, like Pochettino inherited some like quite unlucky injuries, like the Chalobah injury and the Nkunku injury. Like, what are you supposed to do about that? But also, like, he didn't really play Ian Matson, and he could have. He didn't play Ugochukwu very much, who then got injured. Like, there were other solutions. Like, I have been thinking a lot about how would Pochettino be approaching the Conference League. Like, would he be doing 11-player swaps? And I think the answer is definitely not. I think he'd be playing, like, probably 6-7 starters most of these games. How was Mudryk off the bench today? He was fine. He had, like, a decent chance off a cutback that he takes a really poor first touch. If he takes a better first touch, he scores, but it gets stuck underneath him, and he shoots with his left foot, and it gets saved. But he worked hard defensively. Like, he won a couple headers in the box, which was nice. Like, he kind of came on in a moment that it was like, we're just defending. Why does Seb hate Maresca so much? I mean, ask him. He'll talk about it. I'm sure he's very happy to. I think the thing Seb doesn't like about Maresca is, like, Maresca will very often say one thing and do another, right? Like, Maresca has talked about we have to have the ball, we are going to press, and blah, 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 blah. And Chelsea played like 4-4-2 mid-block and don't have the ball that much. Nearly as much as was expected. He also really didn't like his Leicester team. Like, he thought... Like, this is a thing that I've disagreed with a lot of people about who talk about last year's Leicester, where they say, oh, he got found out halfway through the year. Like, he started beefing with the fans and the players, and, like, they dragged themselves to the league by 2 points when they were ahead by 20 or whatever. And, like, the second half of the year was so bad. But, like, if you look at the rolling expected goal difference charts, like, if I pull up McClockbot, you'll see, like, it's not like that. Like, they just played the same and the ball didn't go in. Yeah, Championship 2023. This is what we want. It's like, if you look at it, it's like not near, like, that is not what the story is. The results changed, but I don't think the performances or the ideas changed. And not everyone agrees with this. Yeah, like, he has a blip in the middle in February. And other than that, it's just like a whole lot of we smashed everyone the whole year. So, I don't know. I think people don't like that very much. Has Maresca spoken yet? If somebody wants to let me know, because I'd like to see his comments. And then we'll get some questions off, and then we'll get out of here. This makes me happy. All the drop points make me really happy. So does this. This will be... I don't even know. This will be really weird when we adjust that for today. Because I think last year's Newcastle game, I think we didn't play well. Oh, I didn't even go through the team. Saka scored 15 goals. Is it going to be safe? Nice. Seb's other issue is that his system runs interference for ownership, sporting director, personal decision. Yeah, he thinks he's a bit of a yes man, which is probably true, to be honest. But also, like, that's the name of the game. Like, you can't just say, like, actually my bosses are idiots. That's, like, how the world works. And, like, you're that guy. Like, I don't know. You just can't talk like that. Newcastle home last year. Interesting. I don't really remember this game at all. Is this the game that Mudryk scored, like, the mazy dribble? I don't remember either of these goals, though, at all. Interesting. We'll see. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay, going through the team. I thought Reece James was spectacular. So good. I thought Colwill was not very good. Not very good. Any chance you have Seb on as a guest? Maybe for the podcast. It's hard to do for the streams. I would love to have Seb on. Maybe I'll talk to him about it. But I think it would be good. I think it would be good to have him on for a podcast. The tough thing is, like, I'm on Pacific time, so I'm minus 8 hours to England. And Seb's in England right now. So, like, it's very difficult for me to arrange. 1-1 Van Dijk header. Nice. I have this game as a draw, so that's cool. Colwill I thought was not great today. Really good as a passer, but I thought he was very poor defensively. Colwill does this thing, right? Colwill does this thing where, let's say there's a cross here, okay? And this is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. Colwill does a really good job of getting himself here to deal with the crosses, okay? And he's like this. He's square to the cross because he's like playing like a goalkeeper, right? He's gonna block the cross. But what happens is a lot of times he's very unaware of having to pick up nines, where like the difference would be like, even just come here. Like Isak will be here and he'll be here cutting this out instead of here to cut it out and pick up Isak. And I think it's a legitimate weakness in his game, but also like we have to remember Levi Colwill is like 21 years old. Like he's played maybe 4,000 pro minutes, something like that. Like he has a lot to learn still. So I didn't think Colwill was great today. Fofana, on the other hand, I thought was pretty good. He has two, like, the weird, like, header giveaway at the end, which I thought was a foul, but also he was trying to bait the foul. Also, he handballed it, and he's very lucky that the ref didn't blow it because he would have been sent off. But I thought he was, like, very good defensively today. Gusto, not great. Every time Gusto shoots, he should be fined £5,000. Just no shooting. You're not allowed to shoot from outside the box. It's not, unless the goal is empty, not allowed. Because he makes terrible decisions every time he shoots. I thought Lavia was very poor first half, much better second half. But again, he's coming back. He's young. We'll see. Thought Caicedo was very poor first half, much better second half. Thought Madueke had a quiet game. I was kind of disappointed because he got so many good entries against Lewis Hall, and he just turned them into nothing. Just like not anything great. Palmer, excellent again. Like his slip pass for the Neto assist is crazy. Crazy pass. Scores another goal. It's offside. Scores another goal. I can't even be mad. Neto I thought was pretty good. Really great assist for the goal. Really worked hard defensively. Like nice output from him. It's pretty hard to get mad at. Did you talk about the Reece left back thing? I saw you tweeted about it pre-match. Guessing it was to get Levi center back in possession. Yeah, that was what I said, was that it gives you two options. It gets you Palmer as the left 10 and keeps him and Nani separate. It was like one of the first things we talked about as soon as the tactical board came back, if you want to rewind later. But I think it's that, and it gets Colwill as the middle of the three, which I think is really valuable. And I liked that Maresca tried it. I think it's valuable, and I think we'll see it again. Maybe not next week, but we will see it again. Nani, Neto, and then Jackson I thought was very good. Takes his one chance. His link-up play was really good, like super clinical performance from him. I thought he faded a little bit towards the end. I understand why Maresca took him off, even though I didn't like it. But he's been playing a lot, so it's nice. How would Andre in the right 10 with one of the fullbacks and the pivot work? I don't think... I mean, like, it would be interesting because he can attack the box, but I think he is not great between lines. That's the thing that I think is difficult. Like, you have the same problem with Lavia Caicedo or Enzo Caicedo, is like, which one do you... Who goes where? Like, I thought it would be Caicedo in the 10 in preseason, and it has not been that. But I don't know how the solutions quite work there. And I think Andre's so good at defending transitions, like, maybe that's not what you want to do. It's so frustrating. Watch Gusto shoot. Yeah, that's whatever. It's very frustrating. But I thought Gusto was, like, okay between lines. He's, like, quite useful at, like, he's being asked to do a lot of really difficult things. It's kind of the same thing with Cucurella on the other side. Like, it's hard for me to be too critical when you're being asked to, like, sometimes you're 6, sometimes you're an 8, sometimes you're wide, sometimes you're low, sometimes you're center back. Like, it's hard. Like, these are a lot of instructions. Like, Tuchel used to say this thing. Grace Robertson brought it up in her newsletter when Tuchel got named England manager, about how, like, the more important the game, the less new information we give them. And, like, all of Chelsea's games have been important, and him and Kukurea have had a lot of new information to deal with. So that's tough. Somebody does the bomb squad drop in at St. James's Park midweek, or do you see some starters? And somebody said, "What do I want the team to be?" I think the team will be Jorgensen, Cucurella, Vega, Badiashile, Disasi, because I think these guys can't play. Most of them cannot play 2 games in a week. So I think those 5 for sure will change. I think Enzo will start over Lavia, but I think Caicedo will play. And I think Mudryk will start as the left winger. I don't know if Palmer or Felix will play, but my guess is it'll be Mudryk, Felix, right wing, I don't know, and then Nkunku will start. Like, I think it'll be pretty close to full bomb squad, but Caicedo will play and Dewsbury Hall will not, is my guess. But we'll see. I'm curious how like Newcastle play, because they have a lot. They have a lot of injuries, a lot of injuries that like kind of force them to play mostly first team. So we'll see. Seb just implied the refs are targeting Chelsea with yellow cards for badly treating English players. Trev, Con, Sterling, thoughts? That's ridiculous. No. Referees do not target teams for anything. Sometimes they're just bad. Like, sometimes they're bad one way, sometimes they're bad for everybody. Today, he was bad for everybody. Like, the foul on Bruno in the first half, right on the edge of the box, I have no idea how he has missed that. Like, I just thought he was terrible. But I do not think referees are targeting Chelsea with yellow cards for badly treated. That's insane. Like, there's no way. I love Seb, but that's insane. No, they're not doing that. What else? What other questions did I miss? I didn't see any others. Yeah, I think I would not go full bomb squad. I would probably change the 5, but I would probably keep... Would I keep Gusto? I'd probably keep Gusto over Disasi, I think. And I would go Cucurella, Vega, Badiashile as your back 3. Whoa, 3 lefties. I don't know how I think about that. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's Cucurella, Vega, Badiashile. I don't want to play Disasi because he stinks, but maybe I do want to play Disasi so he goes to Newcastle, because that was a thing that almost happened this summer, and I really want that to happen. Tosin. Yeah, I would play Tosin for sure. But you got to play Cucurella. Maybe you go like Cucurella at right back and you go Vega, Badiashile, Tosin. I like that. And then I'd probably go Caicedo, Enzo, double pivot. And then I would go, Mudryk. And then I would go, I think I would go Felix 10, Palmer right winger in Nkunku. And I think I would play Palmer. Because I want to win, and I would start in Nkunku. I think that's where I would start. I think that's where I would start. But we'll see. My guess is it'll be full bomb squad rotation. And I think Newcastle will play like a pretty terrible team because they're super injured. Is it just me, or do we not score any cutback goals? Mudryk got a pretty good chance of a cutback today. And Palmer scored a cutback, I think. Wait, no, you're not wrong. Like, it hasn't featured as much. We've seen more squares and stuff like that. Refs are both bad, and they just see how many yellows Chelsea have and are on guard when refing Chelsea. It's hard, though. Like, today was like a very tense game. Like, this yellow is time wasting. This was a yellow for a tactical foul. This was a yellow for a tactical foul. This was a yellow for a tactical foul. And this was a yellow for a tactical foul. Like, and Maresca's is for reacting. And then Nkunku's was for kicking the ball away. So you have 2 dissent. And you have tactical foul, tactical foul, tactical foul, tactical foul. So 2 dissent, 1 time wasting, and 4 tactical. Like, I think they're just all yellows. I thought he was terrible. But I don't think the yellows were the problem. It was like Nkunku wins the ball clean on the edge of their box. Like, ZZZ, our corner routines this season have been shocking. I was sold a dream with this Quave guy. I think the routines have been good. Like, the process has been good. I just think the execution has not been great. I didn't like the routines today, but maybe he saw something in the video that he wanted that specific routine. Like, it's a totally valid thing. Like, if Colwell scores a header at the back post, we all feel different. Or if, like, one of these, like, ones that the 8-foot tall goalkeeper gets a fist on drop in the 6, like, you probably feel different. Would I ever consider doing a live watch along? Maybe. Like, probably not, because, like, the games are super early my time. So, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, the first half is usually me and my boxers on my couch. Like, so probably not. But maybe if, like, enough people were into it. But I think, like, I don't know. I don't know if that's the one. Also, my setup is not at my TV, so I'd, like, have to watch on my. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's a thing. Maresca press conference done. All right, let's go see what the boy said. What is it? CFC London. No, that's not even what it is. It's Football London, right? Yeah. Abdullah Mumin, nice to see you. Kier, do you think we're the best team in transitions? No, maybe not, but we're very good at them. Like, I think Liverpool and City are probably still better at them, but we're very good. We're very good. A live watch along would be great if possible. All right, maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it. Today was tense. Today was very tense to do that. On James and tactical tweaks, we moved Reece to the left side and Cole to the left pocket. The reason was trying to attack that side and have Mal in the right pocket. It worked very well. I would agree. I thought it was pretty good. Is it because we lack height still? No, I don't think it's a height thing. Like, height matters. Height matters, kind of. But, like, Fofana is not very tall, but is a tremendous leaper. He's very good in the air for someone his size on attacking set pieces because he's a great leaper. Tosin is good because he's massive. Colwell is massive and a good leaper and is not good on attacking set pieces, right? Like, it's Branislav Ivanovic was not a massive guy, but was amazing on attacking set pieces. It's not cut and dry get tall guys. Newcastle were massive today and got very little on attacking set pieces. On leadership, this is, like, incomplete. I don't like that. James and Cuckoo are also not super tall, but have good aerials. James is great in the air. Cuckoo less so, but James is great in the air. Enzo Fernandez. Watch Enzo Fernandez on defensive corners. That guy is so good at defending players taller than him. He is so good at, like, grabbing your shirt and just, like, not letting you go anywhere, even when he has huge guys. Madueke sometimes didn't even bother to jump. Yeah, Lavia let Isak go for a header in the first half that was, like, he's literally picking his nose while Isak just runs away from him. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, that stuff is, like, it's not height. It's just, like, attention to detail and stuff like that. That is one of the things that, like, really bothers me coach brain-wise. But Zuma was the best set piece player we've had this decade because he was a physical. Yeah, because he was a leaper and he was massive. He was 6'4" and could jump. He had a 36-inch vertical. He also didn't score that much. He didn't score as much as you think he did. I really love Reece. I was saying the other day I expected more from the captains inside the pitch. He's a top player. On Sanchez's distribution, he did many good things at the end of football. I asked Robert to do that. The moment he stops doing that, he's not going to play. It's not his mistake. It's my mistake playing for the back. Yeah, I mean, it's the right quote. Like, today, it was just execution. Like, I don't think his decisions were terrible. It's just, like, don't pass it to the other team. Romeo Moy did well because for some moments on the ball we were unbelievable. I think that's a bit much. But this feels very Pep, where, like, you didn't play that well, and he says, like, oh, we played amazing, while he's actually, like, rinsing them quietly. 75 grand again. That's nice. Every game I feel bad because we have to leave players out, no matter how many changes we do. That's fun. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Like, it's pretty hard to be too mad about about today. So what are you going to do? All right, we're going to wrap it there. What I am going to say to you is I've been much more active on Blue Sky lately. It's my same name. It's just Cured Oil again. I am probably going to post more there because I get less like random assholes in my mentions there. Still going to post on Twitter, but like if you have a Blue Sky and you want to find it, it's there. Anyways, that's it. I'm going to leave dead time at the end today as Bad Rabbits reminded me because I'm ahead of you. But what I am going to say is if you're liking the podcast, if you're liking the streams, if you like the videos, if you really want me to do a live watch along, let me know. Like, subscribe, share it, all those sorts of things. Like whatever. Do whatever you want. Engage with it somehow. But it's always nice. And if there's things you like or don't like or disagree with, like talk about it. Like I think Kadar, I think you and I talked about you brought up the shot volume thing, and then that turned into an episode on the podcast, right? Like that turned into 10 minutes of me talking about Tyree George. So like talk about things. Shoot me messages, and like sometimes it inspires stuff for me. So thanks everybody for coming on. We're going to cut it all there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. There'll be a podcast episode out tomorrow. Bye-bye.